Hello everyone, it's your boy Tigwer Sparkz. I'm here with a scripted video that I wanted to make for a while that is on the game Shatterline. It's a game that I've been playing quite a lot recently on my spare time. I've been playing with a couple of friends and just been enjoying it quite a lot myself, to be fair. It's a scripted video, as I mentioned, that I just want to put out here on my thoughts on the game. I've currently got 70 hours on the game in the past 3 weeks, so I've put a decent amount of hours into the game and it's pretty good in my opinion. Like, the game's doing great. Not in terms of player base, but we're gonna get into that in a second. But the PvP is fun, the PvE is great, the game has a good amount to offer for what I expected when I first started playing the game. So let's get into it. So Shatterline has been in the Steam store since 8th of September 2022. It received a pretty good welcome from the community. It's started off with 11,000 players average, with peaking at 21,000. The game was pretty well made when it first released. No one really expected it. As far as I'm aware, the game wasn't, really that big well known until people started making YouTube videos on it saying how the game has so much potential and everything as such. And ever since then, it's dropped to about 500 just after 8 to 9 months average players, which is quite a significant drop, as you can imagine. I'm not really sure where the community is gone. I'm not really sure too much about what's happened. I've been lurking around the Reddit and the Discord, and I've gathered the information that I think I can gather that's as accurate as it can be to share with you guys about why I think the game has come to such a downfall so quickly. So Shatterline is a free-to-play multiplayer game. It's got a PvE game on the side, which I'm not sure if it's the main game mode they're looking for, or it's the main game mode they're looking for is the PvP. They're not really developing either one more than the other. Recently they did make major changes to the PvE game mode, which apparently has completely overhauled how it plays out. Unfortunately, I was not there to play that beforehand. A lot of the changes that were made recently, as far as I can see, both on Reddit and the Discord server, people are not generally happy, especially with the health changes. As I mentioned, I never got to try this out myself, but apparently if you stand still, you now heal faster, whereas beforehand, I'd imagine you just healed like a certain rate over time, regardless if you're moving or not, and it used to be balanced. I'm assuming this was a change that nobody was really asking for, nobody really saw coming, but the Shatterline developers thought it was a good move to make the game either somewhat more competitive or just add a sort of difficulty to the game. Now, I want to make this very clear, that isn't the only issue this game is having. The community have been complaining about a lot of things recently in the game that they just don't think is right for the game. They think it's going to just make the game worse to play or less enjoyable for new players or long-term players. This is just one of the things that I wanted to point out as an example of why potentially the community isn't enjoying the game as much, or the game is dying. As I'm making this video, Season Delta, which I think is Season 4, correct me if I'm wrong on that, is coming out today. It's coming out in actually a couple minutes. I'm gonna guess there's gonna be some maintenance before I can get to try out the game, so I don't really want to give too many thoughts on this, because a lot of the bug fixes or just changes that I'm mentioning now might just be relevant in a couple minutes. But I just want to sort of make this video to let you guys know that I am playing the game, and I plan to make some content on the game just to see maybe I can bring something to the game or bring some light to the game. I'm not really that big of a YouTube creator. I don't really have that many subscribers or views, but I want to see if I can potentially do my part in bringing this game back to life, because I really do enjoy this game. The PvE is so enjoyable. If you have a good teammates, you can have a good time, and one of the changes in Season Delta actually is you can specify in the matchmaking what you're going for in the PvE, which means if you're looking for a long game, then you can select that. If you're looking for a short game, you can do that as well, which just makes this game so much more overall an enjoyable experience. Obviously, you might not be matched with people in the same category. They might just put you into a game so you can play, but it's a step in the right direction. So the game is going in the right direction, it's just taking a while. Now, one of the things I do want to clarify is that one of the main development teams for Shatterline is living in Ukraine. Unfortunately, as we all know, Russia and Ukraine are currently at war, so maybe that is one of the reasons that development for Shatterline has been so slow, which regardless is going to be an impressive feat. You're still developing a game while your country's at war. That is nothing to scoff at. It's going to slow down development. There are going to be things that get in your way, unfortunately, and I'm hoping that everyone in the Shatterline community and development team is doing all right, and I hope that we can eventually make this out better than we were before, and that the game can succeed after hopefully this is all over. And one of the main concerns that I did want to address with this game is that its timing is really not the greatest. For reference, Counter-Strike 2 is literally just around the corner, and currently Shatterline is still in early access. It's been in early access since release, so it's been about 9 months which it's been in this state. We're not sure, we haven't had much communication about when the game is going to be fully released. I'm not sure whether they're just waiting for more bug fixes to come through, more the game to be more fleshed out. Maybe they want to add more content before they do any of this. But if the timing isn't correct, then Shatterline will just be completely shadowed by Counter-Strike 2. As I mentioned, it's a PvP, so it's a 6v6. It's kind of like a mixture of Counter-Strike and Overwatch as if they had a child. So unfortunately, if the game isn't released at the right time, this might just completely drop its player base. It's not going to get the traction it's needed, because one of the main things for games to gain traction is probably YouTube. If you search up Shatterline on YouTube, the most of the content is about 9 months old, which is a lot of, like, it's a while ago. Like, this means that nothing has really been released that is major for YouTube to push at viewers, and it's sad because one of the easiest way to gain traction to your game, as I just mentioned, is by pushing it to YouTube, getting it out there, because YouTube has billions of users. If people start watching it, then the algorithm's going to start pushing out to more people, meaning more people want to try the game. Now, unfortunately, this isn't happening. If YouTube is recommending 9-month-old content of Shatterline to you viewers, what does that put through into the game? What do people think of the game? Oh, that the game nowadays is just not that interesting. It does not put a good outlook on the game. So, as I mentioned, I'm trying to do my part to make new content, maybe get some views and make it more recent, trying to update you guys on everything that's happening on the game. But it's not looking good in terms of how the game is doing in publicity. It's funny how I said this video is meant to be scripted and now I'm just blabbering on. I'm completely ignoring the script, but the video is still being made and I'm trying here. Moving on, I think that there is a lot more to say to this game, that there is a lot more than meets the eye, but I want to leave this to you guys. If anyone's watching this video and you've never played Shatterline before, or if you've seen it on your feed but have just never given it a go, I would suggest doing so. I think if you're not a PvP player, you still have a PvE game mode to enjoy, which has, if you're a new player, a lot of content to go through. There's a lot of things you need to understand. There's a lot of things you need to know to progress through it. Like, there is no way you are going to get every single thing that you need on your first run. It is almost impossible to figure out the whole thing, the whole expedition mode in just one run. Even 5 runs, you're still going to be figuring out things along the way, whether you need to do some salt mining, decontamination, do the dungeon, the bosses. There is a lot of content for a first-time player to go through in expeditions. And if you get bored of expeditions, you can just take a quick break, go into PvP, which has 6 different game modes at the moment. It's got Escort being my favorite, where it's kind of like the Overwatch, where you have to push the bomb into a certain site and then see which team can get it the furthest. It's got the 3 versus 3 game mode. It's got Domination, which is called something else in this game, but it's Domination from Call of Duty if you players want to play that. And it's got a good amount of content if you've never tried the game before. If you're new, you're going to be overwhelmed with the amount of stuff there is, but you're still going to enjoy all of it because it's pretty welcoming to new players. No one's really that sweaty at the game, so you're still going to be roughly at the same level as everyone else, even though they've been playing for a while. I think this is because the sweaty players don't see much of a scene, like a competitive scene in this game, which is good for the casual player base. As a casual player myself, I actually do enjoy knowing that I don't need to sweat at this game. I can just play it however I want to. But for now, this is where the video is probably just going to end. I don't want to make any more promises in my upload schedule. My previous videos, I said I'm going to try and keep uploading consistent content, but a lot of things are getting in the way and I just can't do that. So videos will be coming out as they do. Most likely more videos on Shatterline will definitely be coming out. Some Rainbow Six content might be coming out soon. I'll just need to gather a few more clips to make some compilations. Potentially CS2, whenever that is released, I'll make some content. But other than that, I don't really want to promise too much. Other than that, peace.